Hey, what is up, and welcome back everybody to the Film Chronicles. I hope you guys are all doing well out there today. Happy Sunday to everybody. I know the channel's been a little quiet. I kind of came out of the weather the past couple of days, but I'm back, so I'm gonna drop 2 videos today and then 2 videos tomorrow. And then from here on out, I definitely want to try to do videos on specific days, so I'm going to be trying to drop videos every Wednesday and every Sunday now. Alright, with all that intro drunk out of the way, we can now get to the actual video. Today I'm going to be going over some MCU Disney Plus series news, and that's going to include mostly WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then there's some little bit of information and speculation on Loki. But good news is everything's on track to come out for Disney Plus, so that does include these shows that I just said, plus The Mandalorian Season 2, which I did a video on last week, so I'm going to go ahead and link that one at the end in the bottom left or the bottom right. So make sure you guys click that one too. And as always, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment, turn on your notification bell so that way you guys get all the fresh new videos. And again, thank you once again for the support that you guys throw at this channel. Here we go. So starting off with WandaVision. So as you guys know, Scarlet Witch is a pretty damn powerful Avenger. After the events of Endgame, after they did everything and set everything up so that way their timeline was okay, we didn't really see what happened to Scarlet Witch. So the crazy thing is obviously there's not a ton of confirmed things. Everything's pretty much speculation at this point. There are certain leaks, there are certain websites and other YouTubers that do have some pretty good information that I would definitely hold accountable for sure. Some of the things to know actually is that a lot of speculation is that WandaVision is obviously going to be set after Endgame, but it's going to be where she's, as the trailers show, you know, I'm going to have the trailers in the background. She believes that her and Vision are living their ideal suburban life, and they go through kind of a ton of different periods, you know, as you see in that quick little trailer that Disney Plus, you know, dropped and keeps dropping until the content comes out. They kind of go from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and then I'm assuming that they would come back into the present when she's out of it. But that is another cool thing to notice as well, is that as soon as she is kind of pulled out of that reality and she's back into that warehouse, the question is like, what warehouse is that? There's a lot of rumors that she's going to be under SHIELD supervision or under SWORD supervision, which ideally would be pretty cool, and it would also provide more connective tissue. And then some of the other cool castings that I think you guys should actually know about, we have Randall Park coming back as Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo, you remember from Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was the FBI agent that was super enamored with Scott's magic and then decided to learn on his own. I think it's actually a pretty great character, and I'm interested to see in how this connects, in what way. I know that technically Jimmy Woo, as an FBI agent, he was pretty much in the San Francisco area, so I'm wondering now if that the WandaVision, if there's going to be a facility set around that area too somewhere. That's interesting to think about, right? Or how does that work? How does he come into the fray? Who knows? Because we also have Darcy Lewis coming back. Kat Dennings played her in Thor and Thor: The Dark World. She was actually a pretty funny character. I could use more of her, maybe not so much as just pure comedy relief, but she was a pretty cool side character to have and kind of balanced out the first 2 Thors, so that was pretty cool. But again, the question is, in what way does Darcy Lewis come into the world of Scarlet Witch and Vision's, you know, characters that she has not had interactions yet with at all throughout the MCU. I mean, we haven't even seen her since The Dark World. We barely even saw Jane in Avengers Endgame, and even then that wasn't really a full scene. That was more kind of behind the back, to the side shots, whatever. But side note, I mean, we are getting Natalie Portman back as Jane Foster in Thor 4 with Taika Waititi and Chris Hemsworth and all that, but you guys already know that. I'll actually talk about that in another video. And for fans of Captain Marvel, we have Monica Rambeau coming back into the MCU basically, but as an adult versus as a child, like we saw in Captain Marvel. Teyonah Parris is going to be playing the adult version of her. I believe Rambeau's character is speculated to be a part of SHIELD or the new SWORD initiative or whatever, and investigating this reality warping ongoings that are going on with Scarlet Witch. And then we have another cool character, kind of a mystery character, but there's a lot of users out there within the Marvel Comics, and now that they're introducing her, I'm sure they're going to establish that too for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because so far we only have everyone that was at the Sanctum that's alive still, Doc Strange, Wong, and then we have Scarlet Witch. So now we're going to introduce pretty much another magic user, and I'm pretty positive that Han is going to be joining as Agatha Harkness, and that's exciting because you got to remember, guys, with these Marvel Disney Plus shows, they still matter in terms of narrative. They still change the MCU going forward, and that's one of the more exciting things to realize about WandaVision, and that's kind of why I'm spending much more time talking about WandaVision. I mean, just listen to what Kevin Feige has to say about Scarlet Witch and WandaVision and what it does to the MCU going forward. He said, quote unquote, that there's an opportunity to tell the story of Wanda and Vision, right? Be opportunities to show more of what she can do, explore who Vision is, and go more into the comics as far as Vision's battle with his identity. And then he also says that there's an opportunity for them to introduce the comic book named Scarlet Witch, which is also pretty cool because now we get to see how they're going to originate that for the MCU. And Feige also says that this show will have repercussions for the entire future of Phase 4 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's another exciting thing because we know by now that there's speculation that WandaVision is going to be leading into Doctor Strange 2, and WandaVision is going to essentially set up that movie. There's also probably speculation and probably rumors by now that Doctor Strange would kind of appear at the end of this series in order to bridge his movie. Maybe not. We'll see how that happens. I mean, that movie just had a director change into Sam Raimi, which I'm kind of on the fence for. I did like Derrickson, but I understand it's cool. I think Raimi's a fine replacement. I'm just kind of skeptical now, and I'm not as excited as I once was because I was more excited to see the more supernatural side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe a little more scary, not necessarily hardcore and R-rated, but I wanted to see some things that were just kind of like frightening because you got to remember, like, the Doctor Strange comics back in the day were pretty comparable to psychedelic trips, I would say. So, I mean, take that as what you will. I'm so excited to see that movie. And the last thing I guess that I want to talk about with WandaVision is that there's going to be twins casting because, as you guys can see in the trailer, at certain points Scarlet Witch does become pregnant. That's not because Vision is able to impregnate her. That's more so WandaVision's I keep saying WandaVision, I'm sorry. That's more so Scarlet Witch's power. She has these amazing, like, magic powers. Like, she's a crazy user and she could warp reality and create different dimensions and do all these things. So it's safe to say that she uses her powers to basically give herself twins in this ideal suburban life that she has with Vision, because you got to remember again that Vision's not really alive. This is more her powers and her trying to bring pretty much a memory of Vision and what she remembers most about him. It's not that he's still alive. I mean, he's pretty much gone. The only way that he could possibly be back is if Shuri was able to bring him back, but that's further into the MCU. And then we also have Evan Peters that was casted, and this is not 100% come out confirmed by Marvel or Disney, but this is a pretty trusted website, and this guy got some pretty good information, such as Peyton Reed, the director of Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was announced early on by this guy to be a director on season 2 of The Mandalorian. And now he's reporting that Evan Peters has signed on for a role in WandaVision. I know, right? What the hell does that mean for the MCU? Well, there's a couple things. On the off chance that they just bring in Evan Peters to play an entirely different character, that's what you have, is that he would be either a new villain, maybe a MCU version of Mephisto is what I've been seeing and kind of been a big speculation on. But my current, I guess, headcanon is that we'll see Evan Peters back as a version of Quicksilver. Maybe not a version that Wanda knows, but maybe a version that is actually still alive and she can bring back without interrupting the timeline, right? Unless she doesn't give a crap about that because she misses her brother and misses Vision so much that's what pretty much breaks the timeline, and that's what involves Doctor Strange towards the end of the series and the beginning of that film, Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. And that's pretty much some of the big more info that we have. I guess it's not a lot, but I mean, the casting does bring the info, right? So now we have kind of a fair speculation on the characters and what's going to maybe go on. And like I said, when you do watch the trailers, you guys can see that we are going to be in different time periods, probably in the span of certain episodes. You know, maybe start off with episode 1 in the 60s, where it's that black and white kind of I Love Lucy feel. I guess that's more like 50s, 60s, right? instead of just 60s alone, and then we go to like the 70s, and then we go to the 80s, and then like it looks like we're in the 90s too, kind of like early Friends slash Full House style, and then obviously we would come back to the present. It's also a fair chance that we could see mutants in WandaVision, or at the end of WandaVision there could be some implication that now there's a way to have mutants without the MCU and without Feige and the writers having to go bend over backwards to introduce mutants. Or maybe they're gonna do it in an entirely different way. We don't know yet, but that also adds to the excitement of these new shows, because it's gonna be a while till we get another movie, guys. Are they gonna be able to satisfy us as fans who are waiting for the next MCU films? Who knows? But I, for one, am very excited, and I hope you guys are excited for WandaVision. I'm going to be doing the next video, the part 2 video on Falcon and the Winter Soldier plus Loki. There is a bit of information on both shows, more so with the Winter Soldier, but I didn't want to cram all that into here. I feel it would be unfair if I spent about 12-13 minutes talking about Scarlet Witch and then only spend 5 minutes talking about Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm not going to do that. So stay tuned, guys. It is going to come right after this one. I thank you guys so much for clicking on this and watching this. It's been a blast talking about it and looking at the information. You guys know I love to do this. So as always, make sure you guys smash that like button and go ahead and comment. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching this. I'm going to put up a little analytics here. It's going to show how much of my viewers are subscribed. So I believe it's around 60%, and then I have pretty much 40-ish% unsubscribed. So it does help if you guys do subscribe. When you guys do watch these videos, it will help the channel grow, and I can bring more content you guys and bring more information. And as always, guys, it's your friendly neighborhood film geek, the Film Chronicles.